Ready.
Okay, calling the Helen Plum Library Board of Trustees meeting, calling it to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Jen, we have, oh, actually, sorry, yes, Ginger, the land acknowledgement.
The Helen Plum Library Board of Trustees unanimously acknowledges many indigenous groups once lived on the land where the library now resides. The library invites all to learn their histories, cultures, and peoples. The library board encourages our neighbors to explore learning opportunities through local indigenous-based organizations such as Midwest Soaring Foundation.
Thank you, Ginger. Jen, can we have a roll call?
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
Here.
Sue Wiggins,
Here.
Ginger Kearney,
Here.
Kristen Aston Walsh,
Here.
Kelly Sims,
Here.
Julie Kowalski Smith, and Vijay Patel are absent.
Thank you, Jen. Do we have any public comment? Anybody would like to? Okay, all right, moving on then. May I have a motion for the first action item, adoption of the agenda?
I move.
Go ahead.
I move that we adopt the agenda. I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to the next action item, approval of the consent agenda items. May I have a motion?
I move for the approval of consent agenda items, approval of minutes, regular board meeting, April 21st, 2026. Approval of financial reports, check register dated April 30th, 2026. Cash and investments report dated April 30th, 2026. Revenue and expenditures versus budget report dated April 30th, 2026. And balance sheet previous year comparison as of April 30th, 2026.
Any discussion?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question on page 6 of the packet. The check for $186.03, Cavendish Square.
Yeah, that is for the books,
Okay,
the book vendor.
okay, just checking.
Mhm.
It's one that I've never seen before. Okay, thank you.
And was the library, sorry, same page, Library Furniture International Inc., was that for the glider? Sorry, it's down in the middle of the page.
8,000.
That was the deposit for we're getting a demo table for the makerspace with storage underneath it.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
Okay,
Which one
similar
is that? The
to
library furniture?
Library
Okay, there
Furniture
it is.
International.
international, yeah.
Yeah, the deposit due for that, it's similar to the piece that we got in Youth Services in their program room, where they have a freestanding cabinet, but it works as a demo table in there as well.
Okay. I see.
All right, anybody have anything else?
What is on page 7? And this is just me more curious, not questioning, the Siemens 18,160.
So that is some of our mechanical system, like annual maintenance fees. So yeah.
That's all.
Okay, all in favor of approving the consent agenda items? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that carries. Moving on to committee and foundation report. Audit committee?
Did not meet.
Thanks, Kelly. Director Relations Committee?
Did not meet.
Lilac Parade Committee?
We did not meet, but we
Yeah.
had a parade. Well, we did not have it. We participated in it. And we will have, I was just mentioning to Ann, I did want to have like a debrief meeting with the committee, probably in the next 2 weeks when it's top of mind, just to kind of talk about details but just to give a brief, I mean, I thought it went great. And I think Kimberly did a really fabulous job executing. The committee, I think, worked very smoothly and executed the things that we talked about. The new book bike was premiered. I don't know if everybody saw that, but and if you saw the pictures that who sent those? Emily sent out. Yeah. it was just, it's a cool bike. It was a great time for it to be here.
Mhm.
And actually, I just saw someone ride down my street today on Craig. I don't know
Yeah.
where they were going, but
David was going to the farmer's market to meet the
Oh.
foundation.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people loved seeing that book bike. So I think we had like a really nice amount of people there. It'd be fun to build on that next year. I think our shirts looked great. Handing out the pencils and stickers was really fun. And just hearing the comments, people were like, "Oh my God, we love the library." That was what everybody was saying. And to be able to give them something, and even like, oh, the sticker on my, and these are really nice quality stickers.
Mhm.
They're just, yeah, so I could tell that we were being really well received. It was great to get that response and, Kimberly being the community engagement person, I think it was just a great fit. Kelly reading the book. It was for, someone even commented on that. I love that woman that was reading the book in the parade, like one of my friends. So that was perfect.
Yeah, I'll probably again.
Yeah. And one of the staff said, "Oh my gosh, we should have brought that big library card." So like, I know there'll be great ideas for next year to add on. But the banner looked great. And I just think it was such an important add-on event in the community. I think people, even in the staff, realize like, wow, this is a really huge deal in Lombard. So yeah, I want to have a debrief meeting to just pull all our thoughts together while they're fresh. And yeah, that's all. I wasn't here, so I'd be curious to hear how it went here, but I don't know if this is the venue for that.
Okay, then let me add a couple of notes. I'd like to thank Jen for pulling her whole family into the parade.
Yes,
With the
absolutely.
banner.
Yes.
That
was awesome.
Yes.
Henry, I would
Yes.
like to send them all a little note of thanks
Yes.
for their participation, because Henry was a
Wow.
trooper. He didn't really have anybody else there, but he carried that banner, so I
Who
was.
was Henry?
And Henry was the
He's a
young redhead who was.
team volunteer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So he was
He
there.
was
so that
great.
great. Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
rest of the staff were turning out, and it was just,
Yeah,
it was a nice presence.
yeah.
From the Helen Plum Library Foundation president, I got a little feedback. He thought the crowds were very supportive. He said, we heard a lot of, "We love Helen Plum, we love the new site. Thank you, Helen Plum. Keep up the good work." He said that you heard that all day. Also, when is the very cute bike coming to our neighborhood? They wanted to know about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And then, during the debrief, there'll be a couple of things, suggestions for next
Yeah.
year that we can add on, so we'll do that.
Great.
But yeah. all
I
in
just
all,
wanted to add that I
nicely
really
done.
think we met our goal.
Yes, I do too.
Achieve.
Yes.
You know, those of us who saw, a lack that we need to be in there, I mean, we totally
Yeah.
engaged with everybody. It was messy. The people way back here handing out stuff and but
Yeah,
it was
and I think
a
that's
good
maybe
message.
what we would talk about, but I
That's
think
good.
generally it was
You know,
great. It's
everybody
fabulous, and thank you
engaging
for your
directly.
receptivity
Except me.
to making it happen. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Moving on to policy and bylaws, Julie's not here, so I know that the committee met on May 4th, and there are several policies in the packet tonight. And then the Helen Plum Library Foundation, Ginger.
Yes, so we had a presence in the parade. That was really great. Everybody that participated said they had fun. The foundation is at the farmer's market. Should be closing up right now. So we had the book bike there and we had people stopping by being very, very excited to see it and see it up close.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
didn't even
looked
touch
great.
it.
Looked great.
And I learned how to use the bell, so it doesn't have
Oh.
a flick, you have to twist the little thing to make the bell work, figured that out.
Good.
So then I was
Good.
playing with the bell, and had more people come over going, "What's going on?" And we do have our book sale going on at the farmers markets, so that's really
Very cool.
fun. We'll have another one on June 9th. Will be our next presence at the farmers market.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Ginger. Moving on to unfinished business. It looks like there's one item.
Sure, there were 2 questions last month about a couple of checks that were cut. Matthew Bender and Co. is the Nexus billing. They're a legal publication organization. And then the second item was the Chinese Intercultural LLC, and that was for an adult services program expense. They presented on the introduction to Japanese gardening in April.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, thank you, Aaron. All right, moving on to new business. So we have an action item for approval of the updated policies. You want to go through the policies? Does anybody have questions? Starting with,
Oh, sorry. You, Anne. Hi.
so do I need a motion
Do we
to
need a
go?
motion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
may I have a motion for approval of the updated policies?
I move the approval of updated policies, B1, freedom of information, B6, routine baking, B8, non-tax funds, P8, library closures and holidays, P10, sick time, P23, cybersecurity, and the retirement of policy U11 security.
IT security. Okay, great. Thank you. Can I have a second?
I second, Ginger.
Thank you. All right, Anne. Hey, pick up with.
So included in your board packet was a overview from the policy committee, just explaining what the top level changes were. Would you like to go policy by policy? What's the goal?
Yeah, I think that's
Sure.
always easier.
Yeah, okay,
And then we'll
so-
just approve them all at the end if there's no, any amendments or changes.
Great. So let's start with, we are trying to get back on track with regularly reviewing our policies, to the point where they're scheduled, but we are playing catch up in some of these. And so when we're looking at those first three policies, they very much were overdue for review. So when we looked at B1, freedom of information policy, we did drop the specific provision language. The library abides by the law. That's the bottom line. That's what we acknowledge in the updated copy. We've also opted to add a link to the law so that if there is a reference needed, it's available. Again, using more plain language, and consistent application of how we format. In general, there were very few changes. It was just making it a little simpler. Any questions?
No, thank you. Moving on to six, is that, or do we need, are all of these kind of in that?
We
Just
can,
updating the language?
let's see. Yes, if so, B6, there were very few functional changes. It was really just pluralizing designees. For making deposits for on behalf of the library. But really it was just softening the language a bit, but otherwise not a lot of change.
Okay.
And then the last one of that trio was the non-tax funds. This does remove the future fund. This was retired in timeline. This was retired in 2015.
That was the last time it was. Done.
It's the future fund listed in the non-tax funds,
Mhm.
that is being struck from the policy because it is no longer an active fund. It was the result of a lawsuit that dates back to 1975 and was settled in the 90s. And then we moved the future fund to the special reserve fund in 2015. So this needed to be corrected.
Okay.
That's the major functional change in there.
I have a question for that.
Yes.
And maybe this isn't the place where it needs to be, but does it make sense to add two current library employees? Like for the to fund scholarships for graduate and undergraduate studying library science, two current library employees, or is
It's
that just
not
implied?
It's not just for library employees, it's for
Oh.
students.
Oh, okay,
See, it's been distributed primarily to library employees, but it was open to
Okay.
folks in DuPage County. That was how
Okay.
we did it last time.
gotcha.
It's within the scope of what was requested, so.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on those three? All right, if not, we'll move on to P8, library closures and holidays, just updating the,
Yeah, so this policy needed to get more specific.
okay.
And there's a couple things going on here. One is we've had a change in staffing levels and the way that we schedule our employees, where there's more structure and less fluidity in an employee schedule. So we are expecting employees to regularly and routinely work on Sundays. We are expecting employees to regularly and routinely work on evenings and also on Saturdays. So what we wanted to address with this policy was how are we compensating staff when the library is closed and they're unable to work? The previous policy didn't really give clear provisions for that, so we wanted to very much clear that up. So we have used more specific language in addressing how employees will be compensated. And I think if you want to go into the policy itself and ask any questions that you have, but we did break it out by compensation, movable holiday, weekend holiday closure compensation, and all of that by section. So hopefully, if someone says, oh, I normally work on Sunday for Easter, but we're closed this Sunday, so what am I supposed to do with that? This is really what this is trying to address.
I have one question.
Yes.
And it's on the back page of page 34 of the packet.
Okay.
In the middle, floating holiday take time off will be adjusted to the appropriate rate for an employee, and I'm questioning the word updated classification. It is in the old policy,
Okay.
the word updated. But, I think maybe this is when we were talking about changing classifications. I mean, this was a while ago.
So this is referring to when an employee goes from, and I have the applications, the classifications listed on page 18. So full-time exempt, that's our management team. Full-time non-exempt, that's librarians that are working full-time. Part-time eligible, part-time non-eligible, that means they're not eligible for IMRF benefits, and substitute and seasonal employees. So if there is a change in an employee's classification, maybe they're moving from a part-time eligible employee, and now they're just going to be a substitute. So their benefits change. So that's an update in classification. That's what that's referring to. Or we have a part-time employee who applied for a full-time position. Now their classification is updated. They're still employed by the library, but there's a change.
So we're using the word updated instead of like the word current.
34, okay. I have 34.
We could change to current if that would be more
Well, it
clear.
just makes more sense to me to have the word current, but maybe I'm looking more deeply into it than need to be.
And be okay with that. Yeah. Is that, see, where, because updated sounds like it maybe has just changed, where current is just what it is
Now.
at that
Today,
particular
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. That. All right, anything else on that policy?
No.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Moving on to P10, sick time.
Okay, all right, so we had a lot of math in this policy. And thank you for laughing, Ginger. It's, well, it's like the Anne brain is going, I'm like, this is how we got to this number, and this is why that's important, and here's all this background information.
Yeah, well,
But
that's
to
why
the
you need the number in there.
It's why you need the number in there, and really the rate is what the rate is. So the rate is that long number, it's 0.046153.8, and it's the same for any employee who's eligible for sick time accrual. So we really wanted to simplify that, which is why we see a lot of content struck in the draft. And then just the very simple, how is sick time accrued, who qualifies for what, how much sick time can be banked, and how can an employee use that sick time, and what happens to sick time upon termination. So it's really just the core of what an employee wants to know. So hopefully that simplified approach makes more sense for everybody. Any questions on, oh, we also changed the policy name from sick time paid to just sick time. Unpaid sick time is addressed in the policy related to FMLA and leaves of absences.
Okay.
The last sentence in this policy, I know it's in the original saying that unpaid, sick time, unused sick time will be reported to IMRF. I'm just wondering if that's still current?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do we need to know?
So one of the benefits from IMRF is that when you are ready to collect your IMRF retirement benefits,
Yeah.
your bank of sick time is the equivalent of time worked. So it's like from 1 to so many hours, it's a month. From X to Y, it's 2 months. So you get additional work credit for that sick time you've banked, which is why a lot of organizations that participate in IMRF allow for sick time rollover and for a high level of banked time, because it's an added retirement benefit for those employees.
So you didn't use it during your work career, but you still.
There is a financial
compensated for it.
benefit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Retirement.
Um,
That's not at ours. Or is that at our expense?
I mean, any retirement benefit, we're contributing to it. I'm not sure what the breakdown would be, because it would be like, there would probably be an expense to the library, but it's not,
But AMRF is our carrier and this is how they conduct
yes.
their
Yes.
benefit package.
So we are reporting upon the employee retire or leaving the organization. They had X hours, which is the equivalent of Y days.
Thank you for
Um,
explaining that, because I was kind of wondering.
It is, it's an oddity,
Mhm.
but that's why we have these high rollovers, and I'm realizing in that same section because, we should strike paid. Unused paid sick time, it's unused sick time, in the first sentence and unused sick time in the second sentence.
Mhm.
All right, so that'll be up to it.
Yeah. I have to flag it.
All right.
All right. Any other questions on sick time? All right, so
Class or,
for cybersecurity
Mhm.
and IT security, so U11, when we really looked at it, was a personnel policy. It wasn't a user policy. It addresses behaviors and rules for staff. So when Alex and Tyler really started digging in, we said, you know what, we need to rename this and we need to move it to a personnel policy. So that's what we did, which is why these two are kind of in tandem here. So the new policy is really speaking to what are expectations for staff. And then we're retiring the old policy because patron behavior as it relates to using our equipment is addressed in our patron behavior rules. And also the internet use agreement that they click yes to every time they use our computers. Alex, do you want to provide more background on this?
If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those, but,
Great.
oh, sure, go ahead.
Page 42,
42,
under
Yes.
library staff responsibilities.
yes.
It says unique accounts.
So, each staff member has their own account for.
Okay, what do you mean by account? Are we talking email account?
Email, any other software that we use, the goal is that everybody has a unique account that is tied to them and them alone. We don't share user accounts and passwords.
I read that in here, but the use of the word account is what? What, I was questioning what it encompasses.
So much of the work that we do requires a login. And
Right,
so any of those logins would be an account. So we're using a login for the catalog. We're using a login for our emails. We're using.
well, that was my question.
Yes.
If the word account equates to passwords.
Not necessarily. I think it's the correct terminology for what it's speaking to.
Okay,
Because each of those is an account.
and that
Mhm.
user is also gonna have some kind of password or sign in that's
Right.
attached to it, just like we have our numbers for our security.
that's all I wanted to know, what the word accounts
Yeah.
encompasses. That was, okay, that was that question.
And
Then, on page 43,
did you have a question about the same item?
Same sentence, yeah.
Okay.
If unique accounts for, I'm thinking there should be a descriptive word for each different platform that they're required to work in,
There
or,
are so many platforms and
but I mean,
that's,
indicating that there are, this sounds like it's one account to me, even it says each individual's unique account, that doesn't say that it's more than one per person.
it is accounts plural, and I would say I would want to be too specific
That's-
in naming them because it
No,
does,
I
it does
wouldn't mean
change,
naming
you
them,
know,
like
so it's-
something a little descriptive, like accounts for each platform they have to work on. That doesn't say what, or how
Yeah.
many, or just be a little more descriptive, or if, maybe it isn't necessary, but that's what strikes me when you ask.
I think this is pretty typical for this type of policy. The other thing, keep in mind is this is the high level policy. There's
Yeah.
also a procedural document
Right,
for staff that gets into more detail about
Okay,
specific operational
Yeah.
things that they need to do. So this states what the policy, what the goal is. There will be additional documentation for staff that will address, for instance, the different platforms that we use.
Good.
okay, my other question on page 43, the second bullet point. Staff leaving their desk should lock the screen.
Mhm.
Are all of our computers just touch, or do we also have a keyboard?
There's yeah, any staff workstation has a keyboard. But
So they should lock the computer, not just the
so
screen?
you can lock the screen.
Okay.
It's Control L is the command, but that
Yeah,
way.
the intent is that if you are leaving your computer unattended, you should log out or lock the computer so that nobody else can use your account. Different staff have different levels of permissions and things that they have access to. And part of the reason that we use unique accounts is for security, so that if there's ever any question about attributing an action to a particular user or knowing who accessed or did what, we know
Where to start?
right. This is a bigger issue in public areas.
Public
Most of our computers are behind service desks, but it's a good best practice anyway if you are going to be away from your computer. But this is especially true for managers
Yeah.
who might have access to personnel files and things like that. And again, that's something that would be addressed in more detail in the procedures, but the general recommendation is if you are going to be away from your computer, you lock the screen.
So
by
everybody
locking-
with their computers have a different password to
Yes.
wake it up, so to speak? Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I was just wondering what lock the screen meant, because
Yeah.
to me, it means
It would,
not much.
you would have to enter your password in
Ah,
order
okay.
to regain access to that
Okay.
workstation.
So these
Yeah.
are best practices. Do they have, like if you leave your computer for a few minutes and the display kind of knocks you out and you have to sign back in, is it that kind of security?
Yeah,
When you mean they should lock their screen, it just,
you,
after a few minutes, it times out?
you
kind of
can
thing?
do it manually, but
Yeah.
also after about 10 or 15 minutes,
It'll
it'll lock automatically.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how mine is, but
Yeah.
obviously I don't have other people in the vicinity of a personal. All right, any other questions on this policy or any of the policies before we approve them? Okay, may I have, well, all in favor of adopting the policies as amended? Say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries for approval of the policies with the assorted amendments or changes that we talked about. And had a couple others. Okay, may I have a motion for the next action item? New business B.
I move to adopt updated board meeting schedule for 2026 to include special board meeting on Tuesday, August 11th, 2026, which is for to adapt tentative budget and appropriation ordinance.
You want a second?
Second.
All right, Anne, do you want to say anything about it? And so it's.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the note, Sue, because I was pulling out this is specifically why, and you're like, we're ready to go. So all of our financial ordinances have deadlines, and so in order to meet those deadlines, we want to make sure our meetings are scheduled in line with our timelines. So we will need to have a special meeting on August 11th. It'll be specifically for the BNA, budget and appropriation. And we'll have our typical meeting still on August 18th. I think in the past, whenever we've tried to get the board packet ready at an earlier date, it's
Challenging.
it's not always successful. So let's set ourselves up for success. We'll have a focus meeting on the 11th and then the general meeting on the 18th.
Okay,
That will mean on the 11th, when we have a special meeting, we can't add anything to the agenda once the agenda is posted. So we'll need to be mindful of that, but yeah. That was really the main change. We also want to be transparent to the public about when we are posting this. So after this meeting, we'll be able to update those dates in our vestibules and on our website.
okay, all right, thank you. Do we
Can I
need,
ask something? This is a topic I guess I should have thought to send to you. My mom and I started playing mahjong outside of where she lives.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of park districts and libraries in the area that all play mahjong
Okay.
as an open play, not as a learning, not as a teaching, but just for open play. People to bring their own sets or for sets to be provided for 4 people to a table to just play for 2 hours. And I was just wondering if that's something we can consider doing if we have program time that could be available either once or twice a month or.
So that, did we close out of the?
no, because I feel like I
action
do still need a vote on that last,
Oh,
that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So yes, thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
So all in favor of adopting the updated board meeting schedule to include special meetings, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, done with that. All right, on to the rest of Sue's question.
So the request is there a possibility of doing like an open gameplay for Mahjong at the library? Potentially, it's something that we could submit to the programming staff to say, hey, there may be interest in the community for this.
Cause I know they have the board night.
Yeah,
Board
like the
game
game
nights.
nights, yeah. I think what's tricky is it is a complicated game, and I do think it's helpful when folks are there that know how to play the game, so that might be a partnership opportunity. But I will pass that along.
Because where my mom and I currently play outside of where she lives is at Oak Brook Park District.
Yeah,
And as a class, they charge for attending a 6 or 8 week lessons.
mhm,
While the rest of us who are in the same room are just playing.
yeah. So it's like a class and then an opportunity to play.
Like a club. A club
Yeah,
meeting?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Would we, to facilitate patrons doing this, do we need lessons? Is that kind of?
If you don't know how to play, you definitely. need
Well, I
lessons.
understand that, but I'm saying what you're talking about as a club
Okay,
for. more
For
active
instance,
people who
I'm
just
told
wanna-
that Elmhurst Library charges $2 at the door to walk in, and it's open play, but it's experienced players.
Mm,
Okay, me, who's only been playing for 2 years, would not attempt to play with them,
mhm.
because they pick up their child and they're putting it down.
There's a lot of nuance to that game.
Yeah, and it's a very fast moving game
Yes.
if you're very experienced.
Even after 2 years, you couldn't jump in.
Heck, no,
Oh my God.
no.
I don't know anything about it.
Me,
I've
either.
heard
I've
of
seen
it.
it, but
No.
like, I've never.
Wow.
You cannot be talking during this game unless you want to purposely distract somebody. Yeah, there's no conversations, but you have to be paying attention.
Does our park district already offer?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
something to be considered. All right, thank
Thank you.
you. Moving on to communications. I don't, Julie didn't mention anything, so, okay,
I don't think so, no.
all right. Moving on to the executive director's report.
Yeah, so we did. I've provided the budget and levy calendar as a reference as we start to go through this process. Next month, we'll bring the working budget for approval by the board. And then it really kicks off what will be some work for the board over the next few months. I did want to provide a financial ordinance cycle overview to the board. Do you have any questions on that?
I appreciated it.
Yeah, we started doing this last year. We looked at it again this year and made some edits and updates and kind of expanded on some of the concepts. But I just want to make sure you guys have something in hand as we start going through this over the next few months.
Thank you.
It is a process.
This is excellent. I feel like this is excellent.
Thank
It's
you.
over my head and I feel like I want to have a one-on-one
We can do that.
session
Absolutely.
because I want to understand it at least a little. bit.
Yeah, well, and this is year 3 where, you know, I'm leading this cycle. So every year I do this, I get a little bit more understanding and can articulate it a bit better. And I will say it's been very helpful having Jen and Tyler review and edit with me so that what doesn't make sense can be cleared up. Yes. But yeah, if you would like a one-on-one meeting, please let me know. I'm happy to
Or
schedule
is
that.
anybody else interested in more detail? I just don't.
I just went to a program on Saturday, so
You feel comfortable?
I've definitely got more knowledge than I did,
Great.
Yeah,
great.
so.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Well, I will
We'll
try to
meet.
get that kind of.
Yeah, well, and as
Yeah, I
questions
really
come
want-
up, like
This is great, but I just like to understand a little more about.
no problem.
All right. Anything else on your report, Ann, before we move to the library activity?
No,
Okay.
I think as long as everyone's read it and they understand it, if you have questions, know that I'm available.
All right, any comments on the activity report?
Patron engagement.
Yes.
It was great. National Library Week was awesome. And we had the erasers, the stickers. I didn't get the card playing because I didn't come in on Wednesday. But I know. I know, but everything else was fun. People were excited to get the different items, come back different days. The marketing staff did a great job with all of that.
Well, and it was a team
Agreed.
bigger than just marketing.
Well,
There was a whole group.
yes.
I want to make sure credit is shared.
And one of these days I will make it to the Studio 411 for a thing.
Yes.
You know, I am looking going, oh, I'm busy that night or I can't, you know.
I do have a question.
Maybe we should do like a special board.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be
well-
great.
Special board, don't threaten us with a good time.
411.
Mhm.
I know this came up, I think, last time. Capacity issues, right, in terms of programming, because I have
Yeah,
a couple, well, one in particular, who Melissa was super helpful in helping her make etched water bottles
Uh-huh.
for our tennis team at East.
yeah.
So each of the seniors got these amazing etched water bottles. But she had trouble finding a time to come in and do it, but that worked out fine. But then another mom was saying, gosh, there's so many cool things, but they fill up like that. And I
Yes,
said,
they
yes,
do.
we're aware of that. We're working on it.
We are.
And I think it was her, I don't know, something like those little owls. They're so super cute.
Yes.
But she's like, why do they have to be so complicated, such complicated projects? I would come in there just to do like anything, but they fill up so quick.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering where we are with the capacity piece and what else we can do.
Well, I recall Melissa mentioned that they were gonna have some tape, like, just you could come in there, during the
Yeah.
open hours and they'll just have some crafts that you could.
Yeah.
Do that
So
kind of
they did
thing.
like a beta version of that in
Yeah.
December with holiday themed crafts and things where you can select from a menu,
Yeah.
like, I just want to make that. So that's one of the projects we're launching, but also we need more staff.
So it's a staffing
It's
thing.
both.
Okay.
It's that it's very popular and that's in high demand. And if we have more open hours, people have more access. So that's the
Yeah.
next step in this, is really looking at how we're staffing that space.
Right,
But
with
it's
more
hard.
staff, we could.
You don't wanna staff heavy at the start and then find out
Oh,
like.
for sure.
It's not, right, it's not.
No,
So
I
we
get it.
wanna make sure we have incremental change.
Yeah,
And that's what we'll be doing over the next year and a half.
Okay.
okay.
Under community connections,
Mhm.
you gave us the information that St. John's School was going to be here for the drill.
Mhm.
And I went, yep, that's great. And then I happened to walk in during that because I completely forgot it was happening.
Mhm.
And it was amazing to see how efficient it was.
Yeah.
Everything
Cool.
was completely taken care. I mean, 275 kids
Mhm.
and adults
Mhm.
in here, under control, organized, and then back out. It
Wow.
was very, very well coordinated, and I just wanted to compliment all the staff.
Well, and the consensus among staff that it is the cutest emergency drill. And probably our favorite of the year. So, yeah, no, they come in with a plan, they know where they're going, they have the older students partner with the younger students.
Yes.
And it makes it so that should they ever need to evacuate to the library, they've done it and they can,
And
and
they
they know
know
they
how
can do it.
Are they like first to eighth?
It is preschool through 8th grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are little.
We're talking adorable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then as they were all crossing the street, they were trying to get cars to
Mhm.
honk, and the cars would honk, and they got so excited.
Which is
Oh my gosh. it was
not
so
limited to
nice.
that school. I think with every school visit where
Yeah.
Madison will come and they cross the street, that is half the joy, is I know they're coming. Because
Yeah.
I see the hands, see
Yeah,
the hands.
and
coming, so.
people are very happy to see them
Yes.
and excited.
Yes. I would like to say regarding the Madison school visit oh no. I think it was one of the Madison school visits, but one of the students noticed the portrait of Helen Plum downstairs. I was holding the door and they said, "Is that Miss Helen Plum?" And that was great. Made my whole month. So I just wanted to, these
Cute.
students are, when they come to the library, regardless of what school they're coming from, they are ready to be here. And they're paying attention on a level that I think is deeper than we may realize. So, yeah. It's been really fun having the schools come in.
It's very cool.
I noticed that the kids had make your own slime. Well, you know what? Sometimes as adults like that kind of thing.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, also because we don't,
Kids to do.
that's
that.
actually a good point, because we're not really allowed to go into the youth
Yeah.
services without any child. Because it's, right, we're
Yeah.
literally not allowed.
Yeah.
I like that idea, some evening to have like an adult program
Yes.
in the kids section.
Ah.
Oh, you mean like in the big room?
Well,
In the
Anywhere.
or whatever it
Yeah.
is, but yeah.
Right, that's our thing. They're not allowed up here, we're not
Fun
allowed.
activity.
Yes.
There's a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
Well, also just for people to see how cool it is, like
Yeah.
maybe their grandkids are gonna come to town this summer, but they've
Oh,
never
that's-
seen it.
Yeah, that's a way to
Wow.
get the sign up, make slime for your grandkids.
Yeah, that's true.
Or just see how cool it is, like before they get
I
here.
think there's that's an interesting opportunity because when you think about when the library opened, we were giving tours of the whole building, so people really got to explore the different spaces. But I think the 5-year anniversary of this building aligns with the 100-year anniversary, so maybe that can kind of be
Oh.
sprinkled in where, especially if we're gonna have that, we are going to have the museum quality display in the children's section, we'll have to have some expectation that adults will want to explore that space.
That's
too.
very
So, yeah, I like that idea of kind of dabbling with playful things for all
It's the
ages.
questionnaires, right? That's the
Yeah.
whole. That's the.
Thank you.
And remind me of the timing of that again.
It is
Question.
February, April into May of 2028.
Mhm.
I don't remember the specific dates.
But that helps, helpful, thank you.
Like mid-month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the senior program, there's no crying in baseball. I was in attendance to that. Everybody who attended was very impressed
Nice.
with the program and the presenter.
What was the nature of that?
It's about the women who originally played baseball that became
You know, the movie.
the movie.
yeah,
League of Their Own.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, and this woman came all dressed up like a peach.
Oh.
Because she actually plays women's baseball still, right now.
Really?
Yes, this woman who gave the speech.
Oh, that's cool.
It was very interesting.
Huh.
All right. Anybody have anything else? I can have a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
A family friend of ours played in that league.
Oh.